So how I got started in horses, I grew up in a very horsey family. My sister rode, my mum rode, so I didn't really think about it, it's just what we did. We were heavily involved in pony club and competed. I started riding track work when I was 12, and then not long after that got my first thoroughbred off the track, which I took up through the grades and had a heap of fun with. I then, through my working life, worked with cattle a lot, but I always tried to find a job where I'd still have horses. I used thoroughbreds for a lot of stock work, played polo cross on them and camp drafted. And then in the last 10 years got back into jumping. I was lucky enough to get a couple of really nice thoroughbreds straight off the track with a great jumping ability that took me up to my first, I completed my first Melbourne 3-day in 2016. With the horse I'd got, he was failed as a 2-year-old, but was a terrific and safe eventer, so had lots of fun with him. And then I've just, gradually accumulated more and more horses, and people have started sending us horses to train or sending us horses to sell. So, it's kind of just got going from there. You do? So our horse business is called Abey Performance Horses, and we take in all sorts of horses, but we do specialise in thoroughbreds, and thoroughbred show jumping and eventing is our forte. So at any one time we've got between 15 and 20 horses in work. I've got a great little team with 2 riders that come in and help through the week, and they've also retraining their own thoroughbreds, so they've got the passion for it, and it's a really nice little team. We work really well together.
So my experience with horses started when I was a little child and went through pony club and progressed from there. Got my first thoroughbred because I couldn't really afford another horse. So took one straight off the track when I was 19 and trained it up and got it qualified. Did my first 3-day on that same horse, so that was a pretty big achievement, and I think that really set me up for my love of retraining from there. So that was well over 20 years ago now. And I've been retraining ever since, and I've got my trainer's license as well, so I've had that about since 2008, and so I just train a small number of racehorses, and we also break in and pre-train, so we really see the horses come from being babies, from the yearling sales, coming in, getting broken in. We often pre-train for other trainers and also through their racing prep. So it's really good to get to know horses if I can, and then ultimately I can offer them a home at the end by retraining. And I've been really lucky to come across some handy horses that I've been able to event and have some fun on. I just love the heart of the thoroughbred. I think they'll do anything for you, and you know, they're so athletic and versatile as athletes, and I really respect that, and I love working with them.
So my love of horses started probably before I was born. I've no idea where it came from. None of my family are horsey at all. I just kind of grew up in England in the countryside. There's horses around me, and that was all I wanted to do, was just ride horses. So I just kind of rode everybody else's horses, said, if I muck out your stable, can I have a ride on your horse? And that was kind of my journey as a kid, really. And I didn't really get my own one till we moved here to Australia about, my husband will correct me, 12 years ago, and our kids had grown up, left the nest, and we kind of looked at each other and said, what do you want to do? And it was like, I'd love to get back into horses again. So there started my journey, and I kind of learned about the off-the-track thoroughbreds and their sort of journey and what happens to them, or sometimes doesn't happen to them when they leave the track. And that was actually where I met Lynn. Because I started looking at off-the-track thoroughbred horses and did my sort of journey, and my first horse that I bought was actually I bought from Lynn, who'd been retraining thoroughbreds for many, many, many years. And so there started my journey with off-the-track thoroughbreds, and I kind of, the rest of it just sort of happened by chance, really. I kind of got Angus, my lovely Angus, and I was just going to go trail riding, and then got into adult riders and started enjoying competing and jumping and stuff, and then I kind of went, I think I need another one. So then I got Billy, who joined my herd, and then I kind of was just out and about and competing and stuff, and then people would sort of say, oh, Lisa, you seem to be quite good with your thoroughbreds. I've got one, he's been in the paddock for like 2 years. Can you have a go with it? So that's kind of where I sort of started. And then, ever since meeting Lynn, we formed a strong friendship, and that kind of carried on. And so we sort of, over the years have been talking about our love of the thoroughbreds and retraining. And of course, Lou, God, must forget Lou. So through eventing, so I got into eventing with my thoroughbreds and found that they're absolutely fantastic for that. They're just so versatile, so trainable, so willing, and it's quite difficult really, because you're asking them to do 3 separate disciplines and to be good at all 3 disciplines, and there are not many horses that can do all those 3 things. So anyway, got into eventing, and through eventing met Lou, who again, just oozed love of thoroughbreds and had her own that she'd retrained and taken up through the levels. And it just kind of, I think the 3 of us just kind of gelled. We just kind of clicked, started the conversation. We all in our separate ways then got acknowledged, with Racing Victoria as retrainers, and then just the conversation built and built and built. And to be fair, it was Lynn's passion for many, many years, and even when I first bought Angus, we had the conversation then to set up something that was sustainable and into the future for the off-the-track thoroughbred. So that's where we are now. So it all started when I met Lynn and bought my first off-the-track thoroughbred from her, and got chatting to her about the whole sort of off-the-track thoroughbred horses.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, Lisa was so interested in the plight of the thoroughbred and what can be done off the track, and the lack of support that was available to off the track horses, and how hard it is for them, and so many horses falling through the cracks. And that was one reason that you wanted to rehome a thoroughbred and give a thoroughbred a home, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So really, I mean, Lisa and I formed a really great friendship over the past 10 years after she bought Angus from me, and kind
of the conversation just kept coming up, didn't it, really,
I think we were constantly just thinking we could do more. We need to do something to get this off the ground to help them, because there's no platform that really gives the horses the leg up that we could give them if we could do something together. But I knew I couldn't do it on my own, and Lisa obviously jumped in and said she'd be happy to volunteer, and that she knew Lou and a friend of hers who she'd met through eventing, and Lucky introduced us as well, and now the 3 of us are together. And
and I think we've just all got that same passion and enthusiasm, to give these horses a chance. I kind of think, because I got into eventing, and that's when I met Lou, and then I think all separately, Lynn, probably correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were already acknowledged retraining with Racing Victoria, and then I had a conversation with Lou, we were at an event one day and we started chatting about it, and you were acknowledged retrainer and with Racing Victoria, and I thought, how do you go about doing that? And then I must have mentioned it to you, and then so that started me off my journey. And I think once we're all kind of acknowledged retrainers with Racing Victoria, then that just escalated the conversation a little bit more and said, right, okay, what can we do together? How can we, with our own separate businesses, so mine's Parkview Drive Equestrian, how with our separate business can we bring this together to maximise the amount of off-the-track thoroughbreds that we can retrain and rehome?
I think we're uniquely positioned too, because we're in such different locations. Like, I'm out on the southeast side at Nanagoon North with Equus, our business that retrains out there, and then Lou's on the other side, and then yourself up at Lancefield. Like, I think it really gives such a broad spectrum of the amount we can cover across the state with that. So, and we've constantly relied on each other with our resources as well. Yeah. So, for instance, I had a horse coming from Ararat the other day, and that was halfway to Lou's house. So thankfully got Lou to meet me halfway and pick the horse up from there. So
and we're super lucky. We're on a bit over 800 acres, and we've got great pastures, and so we've got the space for spelling or horses with injury, or they need that little bit extra time. We've all just got different bits that we can bring in.
Yeah, and I think as well, being in the different locations as well, you make relationships with different trainers and horse breeds and stuff. So that's
Absolutely.
given us a really broad spread, really. And also in terms of the people that we then are in our sort of, can I say Facebook groups. You know, so I've got a group of friends that follow me, Lynn, Lou, and that just expands the amount of people that we can kind of contact and can follow the journeys of our horses as we pick them up and start to retrain them and rehome them. And then after, when we keep in contact with the people that we've rehomed our horses with, we get to hear about their journey after we've done our retraining with them, which is fantastic.
So Beyond Racing was formed with the three of us getting together in February 2020. It was a little bit difficult to get it going, like with any venture, and I think the thing that really kicked us off was we applied for a grant from the Animal Welfare Fund from the State Government of Victoria, and I think we got awarded that, and that's really given us the momentum to then chase our goals of rehoming a lot more horses and bringing together like-minded people.
So since we got our government funding 1st of August, we've got 15 horses in the program. I think we've rehomed 9, all into great new homes. They're all going really well. And that's, thanks to the support through the government funding, as well as Barastoc getting on board and our other sponsors. With each horse that we rehome, we can continue them on the same feed, so they're getting a bag of Barastoc feed. And also the support from Barastoc for the diet analysis review, which is, really helpful.
Yeah.
Definitely with the new thoroughbred.
Yeah.
And I think, the big thing now for us, the goals, is really getting more corporate support and getting public support behind this charity, because it's so important to be able to fund this kind of retraining for horses off the track. And, particularly this year with not being able to go to the Spring Carnival, if people could even donate what they would have spent on a dress to help fund the retraining of a horse, to give it a future. And that's really what we're all about at Beyond Racing, is securing the future of the retired thoroughbreds.
Yeah, because the reality is, and I think a lot of people don't realise that it costs
much.
It costs so much to retrain and rehome thoroughbreds, and they don't all go through the same course. They take different time periods. Some require, spelling for 6 months, recovery from injury, or just time out from racing so they can just become a horse again, and then you can start looking at retraining them into doing something different. So, the amount that it costs each horse varies considerably. And, prior to this, we were all funding our own horses through that program. We got no support from anywhere else. So in terms of it being a business, it's not a business.
It's not viable.
You can't do it as a business, and not that we want to. We do it because we love the off the track thoroughbreds, and we want to do our best to give them the best opportunity for a life beyond racing.
So Beyond Racing's a registered charity, and we've got all that information on our website, and that also covers all the horses we've got in and the work that we're doing, and heaps of information and the links to our own businesses, which we've got the horses in training as well.
Yeah. So to find out more about Beyond Racing and our initiatives in the charity, head on over to beyondracing.org.au or follow our Facebook page. Also on the website, you can click through to Barastoc and get your free diet analysis for your off-the-track thoroughbred.
We've also got loads of information about all the horses we've currently got in the program, and horses that are available, and all the stories you can follow with that.
Thoroughbreds are amazing. They often make me laugh, which I love, particularly when you work with them every day. They've all got their own personalities and different traits, and some of them are quite serious and some just want to have fun, and they've just got such big hearts, and the fact that they'll carry you around a cross-country course and always have your back, I think that's the biggest thing for me. I just want to know that I'm going to be safe on them, and I always feel that.
I love their personality. They've all got personalities, and I've got one with me at the moment, Tommy, who's very quiet, but every now and then he just gives you a little bit of something and you just go, he's just so cheeky. They're quirky personalities, I think. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many traits about the thoroughbred that I love. They're all incredibly different, and probably their willingness to try. I think a thoroughbred, unlike any other breed, they just want to please, and they will just keep trying and keep giving, and that natural want to go forward, I love about them.
So from Lou, Lynn and myself, Lisa, thanks for listening to us and hearing all about Beyond Racing, and we look forward to continuing our journey with you.